Alright, Shalom, Shalom. It's your brother Issachar coming back at you with another lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Makak Badash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect and the 144,000 scattered across the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you. Alright, in today's lesson, we're going to go into how the righteous are in the hands of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Alright, so this lesson's for, encouragement. Alright, just, a little bit to be a faith booster. Okay, so this is a lesson on, encouragement. To the hopeful elect out there, to any of you brothers and sisters out there, who, are going through certain tests, certain tribulation, certain things, remember, think back on these scriptures and trust in the Lord. So without further ado, we're going to start off today's lesson in Psalms 91. Psalms 91. Verse 14 and 15. Because he had set his love upon me. So right there, okay? Because we set our love on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, you gotta understand that. Alright, so the hopeful elect out there, we don't care about these jobs, these cars, the society. Okay, the Lord, we have to flee, detach from this world. Okay, remember, the Lord said, he that findeth his life shall lose it, and him that loseth shall find it. Okay, because in order to gain the Lord, okay, you have to deny yourself. Okay, you have to completely come out of Babylon. You see? And it takes time, but you have to truly make a real sacrifice, and this is why right now you building up your your faith, your foundation. All right, because remember that your foundation is very your relationship with the Lord, okay, what you do, your faith is very, very important, okay, because it's very, very important, because when things happen, okay, are you going to just give up? Are you going to stop, are you going to stop, are you going to stop believing, and praying and all that? See? Alright, so this is why your faith has to be built up now. Alright, Psalms 91:14. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. See that? Because the Lord, that's his name, the Savior. Okay, because the Lord is going to deliver the hopeful elect. Okay, from death. Okay. So Yahweh Bashim Yahushai controls the issues of life and death. He decides whether you live or die. Alright, so the Lord can protect you from death, or the Lord can deliver you to death. Alright, so that's the Lord's name. He is Yahushai. His name means he saves, he delivers. Alright, so you have to really believe that. Now when stuff happens and pandemics and you go over there with the government, okay, you have to truly believe in the Lord's word. Okay, I will set him on high. So right there, okay, so it's the Lord. Okay, I will set him on high, because in this world, the hopeful elect, the believers are frowned upon. They don't you know, they don't get no respect here, but it's all right. You know, this is not our kingdom. Okay, Yahushai is gonna be here very soon. See? All right, I will set him on high. All right, because he had known my name. See that? Because you gotta know the Lord's name, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That's most important. That's right off top. Okay, verse 15. He shall call upon me. All right, so we gotta call upon the Lord. All right, in the time of trouble, you need help with anything, you know, you got, call on the Lord. Call on the Lord. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. So here's the point, very important. I will be with him in trouble. So the Lord is with us. Okay, the Lord is with his hopeful elect. Okay, you gotta really believe that. You gotta really put on as the hopeful elect. This is what we're hoping for. This is why we give all diligence to make our calling and election sure. See? All right, so he shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. Okay, boom. So the Lord is going to be, with his hopeful elect in this time that we're entering. Jacob's trouble, famine, martial law, economic collapse, race wars, class wars. All right, the Lord's going to be right there. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? All right, how they're in the fiery furnace. Okay, who was with them right there in the fiery furnace? Yahushai. Okay, so the Lord is, the Lord is with his hopeful elect. Okay, the angels are with, if you're a hopeful elect member, then you're heavily guarded. Okay, by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and the angels. All right, so right here, I will deliver him. There it is. Let's stop right there. So it says, I will deliver him. So that's Yahushai. Okay, because that's what his name means. He saves, he delivers. Because he's, that's his name, Yahushai. Okay, because he can deliver you from death, bring you out of that, or he could, put you right in there. See? All right, this is Isaiah. The scripture is that this is him that prepares a table for that truth. Okay, because by trusting in the Edomites, okay, the so-called white man, okay, you're and not, trusting the Lord, okay, you're removing your shield. Okay, you're removing your shield. That's exactly what you're doing. So you're just removing your shield, and you're pretty much, telling the enemies, just come and get me. That's what you're doing. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. Right? Okay, something that you got to understand, and honor him, because the Lord has care for his elect. Now let's go to, bear with me. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. All right, here we go. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 1 on down. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, Yahweh. Stop right there. Okay? Let's read that again. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of Yahweh. So the souls of the righteous, the hopeful elect, they're in the hand of Yahweh. Alright, so let's continue. And there shall no torment touch them. So this is why they're not for sale. Because they belong to Yahushai. remember Ephesians, first chapter, okay, the elect was predestined for salvation before the planet Earth was even created. All right, it goes. This is how far it goes. You know. Imagine that. That the hopeful elect was already picked for salvation before the planet Earth was even created. See, and there shall no torment touch them. So you gotta remember these scriptures, Akim and Aqua, brothers and sisters, when you're, going through your daily lives, because it's gonna happen. The flesh, warring against the spirit is an everyday battle. So you gotta put on the armor, and you gotta trust in the Lord. Remember, the Lord gave us the tools to combat these, unclean spirits, right? So praying is a must. Okay, fast is very good. Okay, it benefits your physical, your body, because you detox. You're able to remember stuff. There's a lot of benefits to fasting. But also what that does is you're afflicting the flesh. So you're making sacrifice. You're making sacrifice. So this is something that you have to you got to understand, okay? Because when you do something for the Lord, all right, the Lord's right there seeing. The Lord sees everything that you do. Okay, remember, what did the Lord say? Revelation, Yahushua, he said, I know thy works, and thy patience. See, so the Lord sees everything. Yahweh Shem Yahushua sees everything. All right, verse 2. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. Right, because to the unwise, to this world, this whole world looks up to the so-called white man, a cave dweller, who's about to go into slavery. See? So before I continue, let me just name a few more things, tools for combating those demons. All right, so prayer, all right, fasting, and you got to rebuke unclean spirits and Shaitan. Shaitan is Satan. So you got to rebuke it, because we can't even control these thoughts and these bodies. You got to understand that. All right. So you have to rebuke them. So what you do is, you just, like you pray, but you say in your mind, I rebuke the unclean spirit in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You rebuke them like that. You got to mean it. And rebuke them. So these unclean spirits, all right, they are afraid of. They know the names. Okay, they know the true names. This is why with these false congregations out there, all right, these false Israelite groups, they right away the infiltrate is the name. Right away. You see? All right. So that's something that you guys can do. Just to the hopeful elect out there, you rebuke, the unclean spirits. Something else to try to eat better. Okay, because by eating, junk food and all that, it puts that comes with demons. So even your diet. Okay, and that's facts right there. Okay, pray over your food. All right, it's just a real fast prayer. Pray over your food. your everything, you know, that you drink and eat, you know, because who knows what we're eating and drinking out here. All right, we're in Esau's kingdom, you know. This is right now the wicked's ruling, so who knows what it really is. Okay, it may say, oh, this and that, organic and all that, but who knows? You know, they could put anything on that label. See? So these are just things to these are just a few things to point out. See? All right, so Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 verse 2. And the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and the departure is taken for misery. Right, because that's what people call us in this world, okay? Oh, you know, bums and all that stuff. You know, all kinds of names. You know, so something you gotta understand is that something that you gotta understand is that, you know, the hopeful elect has joy. All right, because this truth is everything. It's precious. All right, not everybody has faith. You see, so that's that right there. That's major right there. You know, because there's billions of people in the earth. You know, and only a handful know the Lord. You know, the truth and the Lord's real name. See, verse 3. And they're going from us to be utter destruction. See? But they are in peace. Because to this world, you know, it may seem like, damn, man, you know, you don't have this, you don't have that. What the hell? You know? Because remember, these Americans are the stupidest people on the planet Earth. Okay? Babylonians, they act as if, you know, you gotta own your own house and stuff. You know? You know, to be, you know, a man or whatever, you know, be responsible. You got to have a house and a car and all that. That's just, you're just putting yourself in debt, you know, you're just putting yourself in debt, you know, and nobody here in the United States, nobody here owns the land where they're at. So people might have paid off the mortgage. Okay, but that land right there, this is why people have to pay what? Property tax. All right. Why is that? Because there's something called the allodial title. Okay. There's something called the allodial title. So nobody has it. Why? Because United States is ran by the elites. Okay, over here in the West is a lot of Russians and Chinese own the land over here. See that? So, you know, you don't have the allodial title. So that's something that, you know, is it's very very real. Okay, so this is why people pay property tax. Okay, because you don't own the land that, you know, you borrow money from these bankers to pay your mortgage. You see? So, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. Right? Because to the world it may seem like, damn, you know, a lot, but to the hopeful elect, you know, but just by having the word, you know, being this truth, it's true joy, you know, it's peace, you know. So, and it takes a little while, you know. You gotta be seasoned, go through certain things, you know. But you know, this word is everything. You see, the Lord is everything. This is why you know, you have to put the Lord first. Remember, seek first the kingdom, and then everything else will be added unto you. You gotta really, you know, walk that walk. You know, if you apply that, then you'll see. Verse 4. For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. Right, because that's what we're waiting on. Okay, you know, the new bodies. Okay, immortality, everlasting rulership, everlasting kingdom. Remember that Yahweh Shai has everybody's new body, okay, of the hopeful elect. Verse 5, and having been a little chastised. So what the hopeful elect go through, your tests, your tribulations, whatever, okay, the Lord's saying it's just a little, all right, compared to what we're about to inherit, okay, what we're about to receive. See, they shall be great. Here we go. They shall be greatly rewarded. There it is. Okay, so in this time that we're entering, you're going to start to see the hopeful elect, okay, receive, you know, you're going to see miracles performed for them. All right, you know, protection from the angels, spiritual power from the 144,000, the house of David. All right, we're going to see all these things. Let's check this out, okay? Here we go. Listen up. For the Most High Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself. Okay, so there's no higher honor, you know. So remember, if you're being chastised from the Lord, that's a good thing. Okay, that way you're not condemned with the rest of the world. All right, you know, if you're a son and daughter, okay, if you are a son and daughter of Yahweh and are part of the hopeful elect, you're going to be tried. Okay, you're going to be tried. Point blank, period. All right. And found them worthy for himself. So remember that, you know, you got to remember that in this walk, it's not about us. Who cares? Okay? Remember, we follow the Lord. All right? We follow the Lord and we trust in the Lord. You see? So imagine that, because, you know, we're those of the hopeful elect are trying, you know, we are being, you know, we're like in the proving grounds right now. Okay, so there's no higher honor than to show Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you know, your loyalty. You know, because forget this world, you can already see that it's out of here. You know, there's just a few more moments left, and that's it. Something you got to understand is that Esau, the so-called white man, yeah, he's on the ropes. You know, he's through. You know, he may talk this and that, but he's through. He's through. All right. Verse 6. Verse 6, here we go. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. Okay, so how is gold and silver refined? Okay, by going in that fire. Not too long, but, you know, because it refines you. You know, by going through your, remember, through the sufferings, okay, are the hopeful elect made perfect. Okay, so remember, we are partakers with Hamashiach, so you got to remember that. You know, gird up your loins like a man. So when things come your way, you got to remember what happened to the Lord. Okay, all right. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. Verse 7. All right. So that the Lord is working out your imperfections, because remember, none of us are perfect. So, you know, the Lord is right now. The Lord is, you know, by chastising you. Okay, you know, he's cleansing you. Okay, he's purging you from your sins. Okay, he's it's a cleansing. It's testing. It's purging. See? All right. All right. Verse 7. And in the time of their visitation, they shall shine. So wait a minute. The hopeful elect is gonna shine? Damn right. Okay? Because all the hopeful elect are gonna get new bodies. Okay? And run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. How many of you guys ever seen the movie The Flash? Okay? How many of you ever seen the movie The Flash? You know that character, you know, The Flash? Okay? The hopeful elect are gonna be going to and fro like the Flash out here. All right, you know, spiritual power. Okay, the 144,000, very real. All right, verse 8: they shall judge the nations. So let's stop right there. What do you mean? The Rothschilds, the international bankers, are not going to be in charge no more. So who got next? Jacob. Okay. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people. There it is, because we got next. All right, so you got to understand that this world is not just everyone's gonna die. No, the Israelites got next. All right, and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. So Yahushai, okay? Because his rulership is what? An everlasting rulership. No one understand that. Verse 9. Okay? They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. Because it's all about trust, faith, and patience. Okay? Patience is key. Okay? But you gotta trust the Lord, and you gotta have faith. Remember that scripture. That scripture, okay, is okay, so without faith, it is impossible to please him, right? Because you got to have faith. All right, without faith, it is impossible to please him. Okay, so you can't, he that comes to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, okay, you must believe that he is. All right, it's a must. You can't just be, no, you got to really believe in this thing. All right, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 9. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. So there it is right there. Okay, because you truly trust in the Lord. You're not just saying it. Okay, you're not just a Saturday or Sunday Israelite. You really serve the Lord. Okay, they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. All right, so you also gotta humble down. Okay, you got to remember, faith without works is dead. So you gotta, show the Lord that you believe. Do something, pray, fast. You gotta do something. You have to really show the Lord that you believe. And such as be faithful in love, okay, shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints. See? So who's the saints? The Israelites. All right? It doesn't mean just somebody who just never gets in trouble. That's how the majority of this world, they have that idea in their head. They got the wrong perception. But that's because Esau, the Edomites, okay, the self-proclaimed white man, he has turned everything upside down. But that's all right. Okay? Remember, we're in a transition time right now, okay, where the Edomites who are ruling, they're going to slavery, and us who are at the bottom, we're gonna rule this planet Earth. You see? So we're in a transition time right now. Okay. All right. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. So the Lord cares for his elect. All right. Don't think that just because you're going through hardships, that that the Lord forsake you. All right, so that's just something, Lord willing, that can encourage you Akim Akwat out there. All right, let's see here. All right, let's get to 10 verse. But the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations. Okay, because according to, people out here say, well, I think, well, I feel. Okay, you got that Aleister Crowley vibe going on out here. Do as thou wilt, do whatever makes you feel happy, right? Okay, but that's gonna lead to people's destruction. You got to understand that. Okay. Verse 10, but the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous. See that? Because the wicked out here, the non-believers, they neglect the righteous. Okay, so they fan the hand, they roll their eyes, they see out, what they're doing is they're destroying their own soul, because by them even calling us names or whatever, it doesn't change anything, That just means that that person is ruining his own soul, his own his or her salvation. You understand? All right, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. There it is. Okay, because they forsook the Lord. Verse 11, for whoso despises wisdom and nurture, he is miserable, and their hope is in vain. Their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable. Okay, so everything that IUIC is doing, okay, buying land and all that crap, the purple and gold, it's all in vain. It's all in vain. But something that you got to understand is you have scoffers, right? So they're talking about, they're saying that that Yahushai, this is what the scoffers are saying. They're saying that that's not the Lord's name. That's what they're saying, So it doesn't, remember, you can't do anything against the truth, only for it. So when people are saying that, okay, they're still saying it, they're still saying the name. Okay, remember, the hopeful elect, all they gotta do is hear the name, hear the word. That's it, okay? That's it. That's all that the hopeful elect. So when people scoff and they're on that podcast and all that, okay, the Lord's still making them say it. Okay, because they literally have it on their boards. I seen it, and they literally say, "Oh, Yahushua is not the name," but you're still saying it on the podcast. So the hopeful elect is hearing it, whether they tell their congregation, "Oh, that's not the truth" or whatever. You're still saying it. Remember, nothing can be done against the truth, only for it. See, it's just stuff like that, like the gold and purple and buying land and all that. That's unprofitable, So with that, that's it on today's lesson. Okay, and remember, you're not alone. Okay, you're not alone, and we got next. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai is with his hopeful elect. So with that, stay strong. Okay, be confident. All right, work on your spiritual fitness if you have to. Yeah, you got to grow in this thing. You see. So with that, that's it on today's lesson. On your feet, soldier. Shalom.